So question, is this not only the most underappreciated Amiga of the last few years, but also the most underappreciated watch full stop? This is the Amiga Specialities CK859, a 1930s inspired sector dial watch with bags of character, a wonderfully elegant design, and a kick-ass movement. Its style won't be for everyone, but if you like vintage inspired, simple, elegant watches, this one might just be for you. Let's talk about it. So released in 2022 to very little fanfare from Amiga, the CK859 slipped under the radar to most watch enthusiasts. And to compound this further, Amiga decided to end production just 6 months later. Priced at around £6,000 when new, the watch offers both a lot in design and technical capability. Although strictly not a limited edition, each watch is individually numbered, and with production only lasting 6 months, makes for something quite unique. I'm not sure on the total number produced, but from some brief research I'm yet to see one numbered past 3,000. As I've mentioned previously, I'm a big fan of vintage and vintage inspired watches, and to me this thing is just sensational. There's a lot to love. When it comes to size, we have a total diameter of 38.9mm, a lug-to-lug of 46mm and a lug width of 20mm, all of which are pretty much perfect. Adding to wearability, we have a thickness of just 11.7mm, incredibly thin by modern Amiga standards. The thickness is made up of 3.6mm of visible crystal, 2.4mm of bezel, a 3.9mm mid case and a 1.8mm caseback. The weight on the supplied leather strap is 65 grams. The overall case design is heavily 1930s inspired, with smooth curves, wonderful symmetry and a classic simple silhouette. Made from 316L stainless steel, the case features a mix of brushed and polished finishing. The case sides are flat and all brushed. This carries over to the lug profiles, which come straight out of the case and curve ever so slightly at their tips. Everything above and below the mid case is of high polish. Overall, the case construction is solid and feels very well put together. The bezel is also made from steel, high polished, conical in shape and fixed. It has a clean, simple aesthetic with its curve perfectly continuing to the crystal. Speaking of which, the crystal is a delightful high dome sapphire with an internal layer of anti-reflective coating. It's amazingly well designed and actually makes up a large percentage of the watch's overall height, but in a good, unassuming way. The watch is 11.7mm thick to the tip of the crystal dome. This tapers off almost immediately, making the watch ever thinner as you move towards the bezel, at which point the watch is only about 9mm thick, and that's exactly how it wears on wrist, extremely thin. Unlike vintage-inspired box-cut sapphires which can be seen in profile, the gradual curve of this one makes it almost invisible. We only get a very slight edge in profile, which I like a lot. The width of the crystal across the watch is 33mm. The crown is located at the traditional 3 o'clock position. It's made from steel and has a push-pull design. It's all of high polish, slightly domed on its face and features a vintage-style raised Amiga logo. We get small coin-edged teeth for grip and 3 positions of operation. In the first, flat against the case, we can wind the movement. This is a fully manual watch, so no automatic winding, which means you'll be interacting with the crown every few days, which is totally fine. The winding feel is smooth and satisfying. In the second position, we can independently adjust the hour hand. This is a great feature, allowing us to adjust for a time zone change when travelling or for daylight savings without having to stop the watch. Finally, in the third position, we can hack the balance and set precise time. Being more of a dress or formal watch and having a simple push-pull crown only gives us 30 meters of water resistance, but that's pretty standard for a watch like this. The dial of the watch is another area where the CK859 shines. Simply put, to my eye at least, it's beautiful. The dial base is in fact a disc of solid silver, which has then been anodized to give this lovely silver-white finish with smooth texture. Just above 6 we have a recessed circle for the small seconds hand, again in the same colour and finish. Next up we have the markings, and there's a fair few of them. This is after all a sector-style watch, giving us various points to read accurate time. All markings are printed. Amiga would tell you they're dark blue, and technically they may be, but the shade is so close to black it's negligible. Even when shining a torch directly on them they look black to my eye. Either way, the printing looks great and has been expertly applied. Around the perimeter we have 2 tracks for reading minutes before a solid circular line with intersecting dashes showing hours. Lines at 12, 3, 6 and 9 are longer, with the rest of the hour markers being split. Finally, we get a 3rd track within the subdial for reading seconds. When it comes to text, it's simple. Below 12 we have a vintage Amiga logo and text, and the word Swiss made below 6. Last of all, we get an almost invisible AG925 printing just above the centre pinion, reminding us of the solid silver base. This is printed in almost the same colour as the dial and is practically unnoticeable. The last point to mention is that the dial doesn't feature any loom whatsoever. The hands of the CK859 have also been given great attention to detail. First off, we have 3: minutes, hours and small seconds. Each hand is broadsword in design, made from steel and have been heat blued and polished. They look incredible, giving the dial a slight pop of colour. A final nice touch is the capped centre pinion, where we get a nicely executed polished disc of steel. The caseback of the watch is simple, most likely snapped on, hence the water resistance, and consists of two parts. Firstly, we have a ring of polished stainless steel that features engravings. At the top, we have the words numbered edition. At 3, we have the model number. At 9, we have the words coaxial and master chronometer. And finally, at 6, the individual watch number. At centre, we have an exhibition crystal, again made from sapphire, giving us an unobstructed view of the movement. The watch is supplied from new with this light brown leather strap. It's perfectly well made, but personally I'm not mad on the look. I think it's the colour, but this is just my personal opinion. If it were mine, I'd have it on something different immediately, especially as we have that 20mm lug width, meaning aftermarket options are plentiful. Being such a simple, timeless design, the CK859 suits a host of strap types. Here's a selection of 3 alternatives to get you thinking. There's nothing wrong with the standard issue clasp though. It's a simple buckle and tang made from stainless steel. It features both brushed and polished finishing as well as a raised vintage Amiga logo. This too is easy to transfer to an alternative strap if desired. Powering the CK859 is an in-house Amiga 8926 manual wind movement. It's basically an Amiga 8900 with the automatic winding elements removed. And you know what? They've done a fine job of the conversion, with no visible signs of where those parts used to be located. Although all mechanically applied, we get lovely attention to detail in regards to finishing. We have a 3-bridge design with curved striping spanning across all 3, radiating out from the centre. We also get a host of black polished screws, engravings and visible jewels, of which there are 29. In terms of the specs, the movement is feature packed, starting with dual mainspring barrels, meaning no drop off in amplitude as the watch runs down. This helps with consistent torque release through the full 72 hours of power reserve. We have a beat rate of 21,600 vibrations per hour, a free sprung balance and resistance to 15,000 Gauss, making the watch almost amagnetic. As with all modern Amigas, we get the coaxial escapement, designed by legendary British watchmaker George Daniels, and it's a master chronometer, meaning it's not only COSC certified but also METAS certified, resulting in more stringent tests for chronometry and water resistance. It's a fully cased up test and provides accuracy of around -2 to +4 seconds per 24 hours. When it comes to wearability, the CK859 wears like a dream, especially on my 6.5 inch wrist. For me, a 39mm diameter and a thickness of around 10mm are near perfect. This is no exception. It's thin, lightweight and discreet, plus the design of the case and lugs are extremely wearable. If I were to be super picky, maybe I'd like the lugs to be slightly more curved downwards. They are quite flat across the wrist, but otherwise the wearability is phenomenal on all but the smallest of wrists. So again, the watch has been discontinued, but it used to retail for about £6,000. You may still be able to find new examples out there, but they are getting few and far between. Luckily, there seem to be plenty of examples on the second-hand market, ranging from £4,000 to £5,500. So, on to 5 not so good things about the Amiga CK859. As the watch is so versatile in its design, it's one you'd likely want to wear often. As such, I'd personally like the water resistance to be a bit higher, at least 50 meters or so to give extra confidence. The crown could potentially be a touch larger. Being manual, you'll be using it a lot, and it can be tricky to grip with sweaty hands. The OEM strap isn't the best, but it is easy to swap out and it's no fault of the watch itself. The lugs could be slightly more ergonomic with a greater curve or taper to the wrist, as it does wear quite flat, making it wear a touch bigger than the 46mm lug to lug would suggest. Finally, it's a manual wind. It's no issue to me personally, but for some it might be. You'll have to take it off to wind every 72 hours. Now for all that's good. The overall design. In short, it's simply beautiful. Many brands attempt the sector dial look, but Amiga have smashed this out of the park. It's timeless and elegant, just how it should be, but in no way too fussy or overworked. The dimension set. Overall, it's pretty much perfect for the majority of people and wears like an absolute dream. The solid silver dial. This is a nice touch, even if it's not obvious, but having precious metal within elevates its luxury status. Its versatility on a wide range of straps. This watch truly is the definition of a strap monster. Customizing the strap gives the watch an almost endless lifespan, making it work with a t-shirt and shorts right through to a tuxedo. So what's the verdict on the Amiga CK859? Well, I love it, I really do, and the next time I'm in the market for a dress-focused watch, it will absolutely be on the list. There's no doubt the design is more formal, but its silver dial works well with a wide range of strap options, and as such can easily be dressed down to a more casual appearance. Plus, we get excellent ergonomics, size, and a fantastic feature set. Mainly though, it's simply just a gorgeous looking watch. If you like the design and style, give it your full consideration. You absolutely won't be disappointed. Guys, thank you so much for watching. What are your thoughts on the Amiga CK859? Do you think it's worth a premium over something like the Longines 39mm sector dial? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next review, and we'll catch you in the next video.